I'm a Confederated Salish Kootenai Tribal member, born and raised here on the Flathead Indian Reservation. Spent a lot of time with the elders when I was younger, really learned the importance of taking care of the land, being connected to the land. Our forest management plan is a very unique blend of Western science and traditional ecological knowledge. When we developed our plan, we really wanted to get away from production forestry and gather this ecosystem management concept. It's based on ecosystem balance. A lot of our cuts look at what the wildlife purpose in that area is, protection of streams and barriers for fish habitat, even cultural use, hunting, gathering. We try to incorporate all those components into every plan. Traditionally, wildfire was allowed to burn on these lands, and historically, our tribe set prescribed fires for different reasons. It could be for hunting and grazing areas. A lot of times it was for maintenance of campsites, for grazing of our horses, for cleaning. We'd have a firekeeper that would go around these different areas, and based on, the traditional ecological knowledge of knowing when to burn, what areas to burn, with the understanding that fire is part of this ecosystem and understanding the use and the good of fire, we're still learning from our ancestors. This area here is called Jocko Prairie for a reason. It used to be more prairie-like, and that was kind of the main goal of this project, was to bring it back to more of a prairie-like conditions.
So we came in and we did a understory thin treatment, piled all that slash and burned it. And then to follow up, we came in with prescribed fire treatment. There was some remnant, camas plants that were showing themselves, and in talking with some of the elders, they talked about this used to be an area where there was camas.
Camas plant is a traditional food of our ancestors, our people, our tribe. When we do a project site, we like to consult with our elders. We brought them out to this field, this site specifically, to show them the camas and the response the camas had back to fire. And they're really hopeful that following the river down with our treatments and burning, that more camas will pop up with this unexpected high water table in this area. Learning from our elders of different management areas, what that area used to be like, what would its function, what native plants were there, helps us guide our treatment plans to where we can set goals and priorities based on historic and traditional and ecological knowledge to restore that land back to its function and restore those native plants.
What I've seen is once we introduce fire into the landscape, the vegetation gets renewed. It increases the browse species for animals. We've seen native plants come back that were laying dormant. With the reintroduction of fire, if we lift all the branches that are available to a flaming front up, it's very evident in this particular stand. After we reintroduced fire, all the trees are pruned. If you had a fire in here, it would typically just be a surface fire now.
But you can't just put fire back to the ground after so many years. After 100 years, you got an understory that just isn't receptive to fire without killing more than what you want. And I don't think a lot of the public understands that. They think we are able to come in and just lay fire and be able to control it well enough to where we won't kill everything. That's where our thinning, our piling, and our pile burning comes in.
Our forests are finally catching up to that impact of fire suppression over 100 years. Fire season is getting longer with climate change, and that aligned with the structure of the forest right now, with the density, it's really setting it up for big events. We're seeing, obviously weather effects, hotter, drier springs, drought starting earlier, which is affecting our fire season. And some of the things we're doing to counterbalance that is changing timing of some of our treatments. Also looking at doing a lot of white bark restoration. If we can help restore white bark and habitat up there, it can only do good, as it goes down the valley.
Climate's changing. You look at fire seasons of today, and I like to compare them to when I first started, and it's not even close. It's crazy how early the fire season starts, the type of weather that we've been getting. If we want to protect our resources from wildfire, we got to reintroduce fire. Welcome to a fire-dependent ecosystem.
That's part of what we've really tried here since developing our plan, is showing how fire helps ecosystems, how it improves the balance. The Fire on the Land project started back when we were doing the forest management plan, and it really dug into interviews with elders, interviews with scholars, of looking at how our landscape here was shaped by fires, and then putting it into a project where we could teach that, learn from that, and pass that tradition along. And that's the importance of seeing a bigger picture. It's not just ownership of parcels, it's not productivity of forest logging, it's ecosystem balance and restoration needs of the landscape.